Today I'll be talking to you about the car company Nissan. We'll go over 4 points: the origin history of the company, the expansion and early progression of products, the shift to the foreign market, and their place in popular culture. The company was first founded in the 1900s in 1910 by Kenjiro Den, Rokuro Aoyama, and Mitsuru Takuchi. They experienced a few name changes during the earliest 20th century to Kashina Motor Car Works, Kashina Motor Car Company, and then finally to an abbreviation of the owner's first letters of their last name, DAT. The transition to Nissan was in the 1920s, 1930s, when Nishizuki Akiwa founded the holding company Nihon Sanyo, and was later renamed in 1933 to Nissan, which is an abbreviation of the first two letters of Nihon Sanyo. And Nissan produced its first Datsun in 1935 with the DAT and the Yokohama plant. The company began exporting cars to Australia in the same year. The product history shows a slight progression of how the cars transitioned. Was the first Datsun was in 1914, and the first mass-produced Datsun was in 1937. The first mass-produced car, which was exported to Australia and sold in Japan. And then finally, the Nissan Skyline began production in 1957. And then the first pickup was sold in 1959. And in Japan, 200 American servicemen took these trucks back to America, and that was the first exportation of Nissan to America. And then in 1961, Nissan Datsun's first sports car, the Fairlady 1200 Roadster, came out, and a few were exported to America. And then in 1971, the Datsun 1200 Coupe was sold in America and exported and became the best-selling car of the time for Nissan. Next, we're going to drive over and show you the expansion of Nissan into the foreign market. And in the first foreign shift was in the 1950s when they developed a plant in Mexico and started a subdivision in Gretna, California. And then they started building factories in Mexico and the US during the 1960s. They had more and more expansion going into the 80s, and they built more factories in Mexico. And finally, in 2001, they expanded into Brazil with product production beginning there. And then they chartered a deal in India and began a new subdivision of Nissan India in 2005 for production and selling. And next, we're going to show you Nissan's place in popular culture. And one of the most iconic cars made by Nissan is the Nissan Skyline GTR, one of the most sought-after cars in car culture and by consumers alike. It is a beast of a car with 2.6-liter turbo engine, 276 horsepower, and 266 foot-pound all-wheel drive. But there's one problem with it. It is illegal to sell and drive in the US. It is illegal because of the power and because it does not fit the emission standards of the US. Another big thing of Nissan's place in popular culture is it makes many appearances in movies and shows alike. It has been in every single Fast and Furious movie, Need for Speed, The Gunman, and Redirected, and it made many appearances, with the Nissan Skyline being the most iconic and most shown in movies. And to recap the points we went over today, we went over the origins and early history of the company. We went over the progression and history of product. We went over the shift to foreign market, and then finally, Nissan's place in popular culture. In conclusion, Nissan is a very productive company, and their slogan right now is innovation that excites, which is shown in their products.